Here we are again. Another trash show to watch. Another terrible time to be had. King's Game delivered trash in its purest form, and I had the displeasure of watching the entire anime in a single sitting because my friend dragged me into it. It would be fun, he said. Let's just get it out of the way, he said. That is a night I will never get back. The only fun part was when we created our own entertainment. When we would ask, I wonder how that scene would look at 4 times speed, and proceed to laugh at how many running shots there are in this show. I couldn't be bothered to pull screenshots from the show or do much in the way of editing for this one, partly because I was so bored watching that making any kind of joke or gag would just be impossible, but also because life got in the way and I wouldn't have much editing time. So enjoy me driving around while I attempt to convey the terrible time I had watching King's Game. We'll start with the story. And the overall story here is pretty bland. It's like any other death game, just with really weird and sexual tasks to do to not get killed. I'm just gonna spoil the ending here since there's no other substance to the plot. It ends with nothing resolved, everyone dies, and the cycle begins anew despite the game's rules and logic almost assuredly pointing to the fact that it should be over. Yeah, no. The game follows the rules like a good noodle the entire show, to the point that there's no room for technicalities. When it says Homegirl has to send a text to 2 people telling them to die, it literally means Homegirl with her own fingers on her own phone has to not only type, but has to be the one to hit send in order for it to count. There being absolutely no room for people to outsmart or outwit the game further contributes to the boring nature of it all. If I do not literally see X happen, I know that person will die. There's no real suspense here. There is no, ooh, when will this be enough to bypass the task and be a completion on a technicality? There is a single time where I felt a tiny bit of suspense. When they were running into the mountain and the one in last place every 8 hours is killed. Going by the game standards up to this point, you would think that someone that is already dead would not count towards the places in the race. But nope. This is the one time the game kills off somebody that's already dead to allow our MC to have a moment with his girl. Other than that, everything happens as literal as it says, and there are no surprises. Well, except for the amount of flashbacks you are put in. Seriously, there is so much flashback material here, you should have started the anime with the plot of the flashbacks as the first arc. It just recounts the MC's first time playing the game, but it does nothing for me. Since it's already been well established he is the only one that survived since nobody worked together. We just repeat the same, oh wow, what is this game? And get stupid silly deaths because people don't follow instructions. It was a personal hell of having a super slow pacing again by explaining the game with a new set of characters. I wouldn't have such an issue with the flashbacks if it were the beginning and we just kept moving forward in time. There would be more suspense on who lives and who dies, but I don't think the author is smart enough for that considering the lore makes 0 sense. The entire time, the lore of this game is it started in a village and it seems whoever survives the game is then infected with some virus that allows the game to begin again later. Therefore, if all people infected with the virus die, the game should cease to exist. Wrong. The ending very heavily implies that all previous game survivors left are in this one game, and they all die in the end. Even the winner of the game drags the MC's body into the ocean and drowns with him just to be extra careful. You know, since the game considered a dead person as a contestant earlier. But nope, this doesn't matter. This virus somehow spreads to this random no-name person we have never seen before, and we fade to a be continued screen. It's insulting. It's almost as insulting as Diabolic Lovers making an OVA to recap 6 episodes of nothing. But King's Game just beats it out because truly nothing will be as bad as that show was. Anyways, this ending leaves me asking, what was the point? Why did we go through all of this just for nothing to really happen? And it doesn't seem like the author knows either, since it seems like all he has written since King Game is prequels to the main story. Right. I don't guess I can blame him. I too want to know how a computer virus can affect humans without direct contact from the internet that also supposedly originated in a time without any computers that came into existence. It's like he wrote this stupid plot device to make the gray-haired hacker girl who survived a previous game more relevant. Speaking of which, that brings us to the next big issue of the characters. And oh boy, the characters in this show make the story seem like a 5-star dining course approved by Gordon Ramsay himself. These characters are boring, bland, and offer nothing new to the genre. The MC is your standard crybaby who survives something and wants to lead a new group. They reveal that who you thought was the female MC is actually evil in episode 2 or 3, which is way too early. There is no real impact from this. Everyone else is so forgettable. I called that gray-haired chick who had survived a previous game so insanely early that I wasn't shocked when it was revealed later on. I also suspected that the evil chick who was related to the MC's old girlfriend who died in the first game, so that also wasn't a shock either. There's just nothing interesting here, character-wise. The only one that I was somewhat interesting, I guess, was the guy whose dream was to be a barber, but he broke his fingers to help the NC in a game. And the only reason I remember this is because, 1, this was the first time anybody did any kind of strategizing in the game, and 2, it was an odd backstory that I really wasn't expecting. But again, the strategizing was pointless, since the evil girl's wimpy, lonely, and mega simp mindset makes her fail to see she is just being used, and the evil girl was fully willing to let her die right then and there. And it's not like she was manipulated or gaslit really well. The girl flat out admits to using her, right to her face. And she still barks and begs for the evil girl to use and abuse her. It's just stupid for the plot's sake. They try to shoehorn in a new main female MC who has been alluded to in the OP since the beginning, way too late for it to really matter. They rush a romance here just so there is some kind of impact at the end, since the MC has just wanted to die the whole time. But it doesn't work. I don't care. Several of these people deserve their outcomes from their own stupidity. And when talking about these outcomes, the deaths are just so boring and repetitive. Seriously, you can decapitate somebody so many ways, but it's boring after the first time. There's no creativity on display here. There's nothing that catches my eye and says, oh, that's a really terrible way to die. Nope, you just get decapitated. That's it. Nothing fun. But again, I don't care about anybody here. You can decapitate whoever you want. I don't care. It's shocking that the author wrote the main character as a self-insert for himself. He must not have much of a positive perception of himself in that case. The only thing decent to come out of this is the opening. I don't know how they managed to drag Cold Rain into this, but it's the only thing that will have staying power here. The anime will barely be remembered, and if it is, it's because of how bad it is. This is an easy 2 out of 10, which puts it on par with Inu Kai-san's Dog, but still better than Diabolic Lovers. Don't watch this. It is not worth your time. Go watch The Hunger Games or something if you're really wanting a death game. This does nothing new, nothing fun, nothing interesting. It's mindless stupidity without the strategy, without following the rule set, and without anybody to really root for. You want everybody to die, and thankfully they do. But sadly, it seems like this anime has left the opening for a part 2, which I hope will never ever come.